LeBron James is willing to do something in his career that he has never done before, and that is to take a pay cut. The Lakers have to take advantage of this opportunity and bring in some guys that can make an impact on this roster. So, we're going to take a look at a couple of guys that are around that mid-level exception that could help this Lakers squad, and that will be up to LeBron standards. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything we have for you for today's video, guys, there's about 70% of you guys who have recently watched our videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel just yet, and if you guys want more of those Laker updates, you guys want to make sure you guys are subscribed to Lakers Digest. Now, with that out the way, let's hop straight into the topics that we have for you today, as there is going to be a bevy of players that we're going to go through, and we're going to start with the first and foremost, who is probably my favorite player on this list of where LeBron James wants to get these impact players, and it is Klay Thomson. So, the Lakers have always been a destination for players, especially for the ones who grew up in the SoCal area, and Klay Thomson is no exception to that, as Klay Thomson is from the OC area, and then his father, Michael Thompson, played for the Lakers and still currently works for the Lakers as a radio guy for ESPN. So Klay Thomson definitely has some ties to the Lakers, and it's kind of been a long time coming for a guy like Klay Thomson to come home, and why not finish your career out with the Los Angeles Lakers, hang out with your dad a little bit, and even hang out with your brother, Trace Thompson, who played for the Dodgers a little bit. So he definitely has a reason to come to the Los Angeles Lakers, and not just that LeBron James wants him on this squad. But as far as the list of players there that we're going to be looking at here is, so this is who LeBron said he would be willing to take a pay cut from. This is from Dave McMinimum, and it's James Harden, Klay Thomson, and Jonas Valančiūnas. Like I said, Klay Thomson being probably the best fit out of all of those guys, because Klay Thomson has that ability to stretch the floor. Yes, his defense has fallen off because of the huge injuries he has had, but he's still a 6'7", 6'8" shooting guard, which is a very good size, adequate size that you can use there on the wing, and it can only add to that wing defense that the Lakers are have currently, because they have Jared Vanderbilt, who everybody forgot about last season, and he's going to come back healthy with a vengeance, ready to go. So you add that along with a guy like Anthony Davis backing up your defense, you're just shoring up your defense so much with guys who can really keep guys in front of them. And then as far as the offensive goes, this is where things get really exciting, and I think why Klay Thomson might evidently end up choosing the Lakers. It's because JJ Redick is the head coach. And what did JJ Redick do that him and Klay Thomson shared together? They shoot threes like crazy, and they're not just standstill shooters. These are movement shooters. These are shooters who are taking an obsessive amount of shots a day. They are obsessive with their forms, so they speak the same language. So why not come to the Los Angeles Lakers, where JJ Redick can set you up for a lot of pin downs and some ATO plays, just specifically designed for you. And the two guys who are going to be your screeners essentially could be LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two guys that you have to cover for on the roll. So a lot of teams are going to be making a tough decision whether it's coming to guard Klay Thomson or guard LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I know some people are going to say, yeah, Klay Thomson has lost a step, which he has, but he's Klay Thomson. That's the thing. You're not going to leave a guy like Klay Thomson open, and that is the point. Klay Thomson just out there for the Los Angeles Lakers is a massive appeal, because he's one of those shooters that you just can't leave open, no matter how long you think he's in a slump, or even if you think he is not as good as he once used to be. Yes, he may not be, but he is still Klay Thomson. This guy, just let's look at his stats from this past season here, and he averaged almost 18 points per game to go along with about 3 rebounds, 2.3 assists. And then he was shooting 43% from the field and 38% from three, just about 39%. So this guy, Klay Thomson, and then he had about 61% of his threes are from the 3-point line. So this guy is a high volume 3-point shooter. So that is a guy that the Lakers haven't really had, I guess, since last season with D'Angelo Russell. And then we saw what happened with the offense as things starting to open up when guys like D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves were hitting shots. And we're starting to see a little bit of a theme if this does come to fruition, because with the Lakers picking up a guy like Dawson Connect in the draft, and he is that movement shooter, if the Lakers are starting to add some of these high-level shooters on this team, their offense is going to be one of the tops in the NBA, hands down, and that is already off the back of you have LeBron and AD screen and roll that you've been running for the past 6 seasons. So those guys have perfected that to a T. They know where each of them are going to be on the plays. So when you add shooting around that, because that's kind of been the issue, because a lot of teams love to pack the paint against the Lakers, it's just going to spread up the floor so much for guys like Klay Thomson and Austin Reaves. So that's why he is one of my main guys, number one guy that you would go after for. But on to our next guy, and that is James Harden. No. Just no. Why I don't think there's any conversation to be had. James Harden has not proven to be a playoff performer. This guy is a bit of a ball-dominant guard, and you really, really don't want that on a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, especially when you're trying to elevate Anthony Davis's position in this offense. So James Harden will just slow things and muck things up. He doesn't really give me too much defensively. Yes, he can guard people in the post, but what do I need my point guard guarding post defenders when I have guys like Anthony Davis that exist? No. We're going to go on to the next one. So the next guy, Jonas Valančiūnas. So he's been a name thrown around a little bit, and it's starting to seem that the New Orleans Pelicans are probably not going to afford him now with their new deal with DeJounte Murray that they brought in from the Hawks. And then they also have Trey Murphy, who's up for a rookie extension. So that guy is probably going to get paid because he is going to be next in line. And then let's see what happens with Brandon Ingram. But as far as Jonas Valančiūnas, it is very unlikely that the Pelicans are going to be able to re-sign him. That's why I believe they picked up a center in the draft. So Jonas Valančiūnas could be available to the Lakers, and if he's one of the guys for the mid-level exception, especially if a guy like Klay Thomson goes elsewhere, whether it's to the Clippers or it's to the Mavericks, because the Lakers are going to have some competition. Whether it's to one of those teams, he could be a solid consolation prize. Valančiūnas, he is a big-bodied dude. He's definitely going to play the center. He can stretch the floor a little bit. So let's just take a look at Valančiūnas's stats. And the main stat that I like here, which I truly love, is he played all 82 games last season. Was one of the few players who did that, along with Austin Reaves. And then he averaged just about 12 points per game, which is pretty solid, about 8.8 rebounds a game, 2.1 assists, about off of 56% from the field, only about 30% from three, but he's a career 34% three-point shooter, and then he was 78 from the free throw line. So he isn't a spectacular player in forms of numbers, but he is a guy who can be a solid piece you can add, and then looks like a guy that can play a good amount of games, which is very important, especially on a team with LeBron James, who's aging, and then Anthony Davis, whose injury history can definitely pop up at times. So having some insurance like a guy like Valančiūnas, I don't think he's a guy that can play super deep in the playoffs. He's very matchup dependent, especially because he isn't a guy that isn't really quick feet and can't really switch out to guards. That's why you have a guy like Anthony Davis. But if he's going to be in that regular season role where he's going to be that starting five, going to help against those bruising fives, guys like Jokic, guys like Jusuf Nurkic, guys like even Embiid to an extent, he's definitely a body that would be comfortable throwing out there. And every now and again, he's a guy that can definitely get you 15 and 15. So he is a very solid big man, and he's been around the NBA a little bit, so he's a very, very solid presence there. But he isn't my ace in the hole. That's Klay Thomson. That is who the Lakers should be striving for. And with the look of how things are shaping up right now, it seems like things could happen very quickly for the Los Angeles Lakers. So they have to act fast, especially before LeBron James and Anthony Davis head out to training camp for USA Basketball. So it seems like LeBron wants to get his deal done before then. But like I said earlier, that the Lakers are going to have some competition for guys like Klay Thomson. So that is the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to look like as potential suitors. And then since the Mavericks recently just traded away Tim Hardaway Jr., they're going to have enough money to match the Lakers in salary. So with that 12.9 million. So this is going to come down to if the Lakers and Rob Pelinka are able to woo a guy like Klay Thomson away from those teams. And to me, that's got to be priority number one. Yes, Valančiūnas could be nice. Not even thinking about James Harden. Bridges, who's a name that's floated around there, but I don't think the Lakers are going to go after him, especially if they have guys like Hachimura and Vanderbilt currently on the roster who take up those positions he play. So Klay Thomson, to me, makes the most sense, whether he's starting, coming off the bench. There's a way that we can figure out a way to do it. This is the guy that is going to open up the floor, make things possible on the offensive end, and just make a lot of things easier for a lot of guys on the roster. So whatever they got to do to either pry him away from possibly going to Dallas or even the Clippers, because they could have some deals working with Paul George in the sign and trade. So the Lakers have to be on their toes here possibly in the next 48 to 72 hours. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because there's going to be a bunch of updates coming here in these next couple of days. Let us know in the comments down below of what you guys think of the guys they should go after, whether Klay Thomson or Jonas Valančiūnas or somebody else out there, maybe even a DeMar DeRozan, the name that we didn't mention. So let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.